Like, yeah, I guess like this. I guess it's supposed to be some old school camera device, but the fingers holding it looks weird. Like the knuckles, it's like it looks like she's got an extra row of knuckles. Yeah, I mean, you see it in the photo. So yeah, hey, artists, if you're listening or watching, we still have the upper hand. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Rated G. We're actually the first episode of 2023 of Rated G. I am your host, G Derado. If you are new here, welcome to the show. This is a podcast where I sit down and share all the insights of my artwork and what goes behind it, as well as featuring other local artists, crafters, creators, small business owners. And while promoting their brand, we engage on long form conversation, just getting to know each other and figure out what makes us tick. So if you enjoy this content and you want to hear more or you want to see more, please be sure to follow and subscribe on whichever audio platform you are tuning in with, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. And of course, if you want to, follow my artwork and support it, you can find me on social media, Instagram and Facebook. And I do share content on YouTube regarding my art. So, all the things you want to, subscribe to, just, check out links in the show description if you must. But pretty easy to find on social media, just at Art of G Torado. And yeah, so let's get after it. It's been a while since the last episode. To be exact, I believe it was the beginning of December. So I made sure I got the last episode of last year out before the holidays. I was just getting pretty burnt out. Been keeping it consistent the past 3 years. So yeah, I decided to take a short hiatus. It's been almost a couple months, and I'm not gonna lie, it took me a couple of takes to get used to just the flow of this, and just I don't know, like I, I'm again had to find the right words to start the show and everything. So it's I gotta shake the cobwebs off. All right. And again, if you're new here, I'm very long-winded. Yeah, I really do what do they say, beat around the bush to get my point across. So bear with me. I'm sure there are a lot of you that relate. Um but yeah, so uh yeah, I the last several episodes, really, I've been just doing a lot of solo recordings. I kind of fell on this path of doing basically like news roundups of different topics. And although that's been fun, I have been, it's been fun doing all those. But it is also kind of, it's a little more exhausting. uh just the prep for it. I take more notes. It just a lot of brain work trying to figure out, all right, what's gonna make this episode interesting. Of course, I want to talk about the stuff that I'm interested on, but not everything that I'm into, my audience is into. So I try to engage with my followers on social media to see what, if they tune in. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know if all my followers actually, well, not all my followers, but I don't know, who actually follows the podcast. So I try to get some, suggestions on what to talk about and all that. But yeah, so the last several episodes, just I took it upon myself to be like, all right, I'm going to talk about this. I'll talk about MMA on this episode, talk about AI and whatever. Like you can check the catalog. But yeah, I am itching to bring some some new faces and familiar faces back on the podcast. Um, and yeah, so um, yeah, I do have guests coming up soon, so I've been booking away for the next couple months, and I'm just excited. I'm excited to catch up with some friends and see what they've been up to. Talk about all the things that they've been working on, that they've been sharing on social media. So yeah, be on the lookout for the next the ongoing episodes that will be coming out, because I got some great features coming up soon. So yeah, I didn't want to do bringing the podcast back. Oh, by the way, if you are a returning uh viewer, I'll say, you might notice your boy's rocking headphones now, or as podcasters say, that the cans. My wife, my lovely wife, was kind to gift me headphones for Christmas. So thank you, Nicole. Although you're not going to listen to this, she doesn't listen to the podcast. She's a great supporter of it, and that she'll help me if I need to get some things for it. But in terms of tuning in and all that, it's not her thing. So I'm not trying to I'm not trying to make her look bad. I'm just saying that's just the reality of it. But yeah, I'm rocking headphones, and what a difference it makes, honestly, because uh, I'm naturally loud anyway. I don't know if that's like a Filipino thing or not, whatever. Uh, but I'm a loud person, so projecting usually isn't an issue. But that being said, it's nice to hear how much I'm projecting and what I actually do, or just even the listeners, you guys that are listening, now I know what actually comes through the mic. And I've always said the Yeti mic, this Blue Yeti mic, is fucking powerful, man. I always underestimate how well it picks up sound. Even with the filter on it here, you can still hear, like, you know, stuff around me. Like, I thought maybe it would muzzle out the train, because we live right next to the train tracks. And yeah, I can still hear that shit. So I do want to apologize in advance, uh, especially to the new listeners. From time to time, you may hear a train roll through, and yeah. What else? So yeah, I do like having the headphones on. Um, Also, when I do have guests, there's been a couple of times I had guests here on location, and I've always worried about, again, just how well the mic, even if I have the setting on directional or bio direct, was it bidirectional? I might be getting the words fucked up. Um, but even with the proper setting, I still question how well it's gonna pick both of us up. More so the guest. The my guests are typically more soft spoken than I am. But yeah, it's nice. I like this. I could definitely get used to this. Um, but yeah, bringing the podcast back, I didn't want to make it one of those, like, oh, the New Year resolutions and whatnot. I kind of briefly talked about it on the last episode last year, just kind of briefly going over, like, what I'm aspiring to do, like my affirmations, like, I like, that's the typical thing to do, right? For podcasters, like, we talk like, oh, what's your New Year resolutions, blah blah blah. And I don't know, I didn't want to get too deep into it. So, and bringing this back, I didn't want to cover that again. So, um, yeah, we're not gonna do that. So anyway, I attended my first artisan market here in Richmond. Um, and it was called the Quit Your Day Job Market. And uh, I was a little nervous and anxious gearing up for it because it's my first time being a vendor with Richmond Makers Market. And it's actually kind of funny because there's episodes out there where I'm kind of like just basically bitching about not um basically not getting accepted to be a vendor at this event. And you know, I don't know if it's because like I'm a new name or like you people tend to book regulars. So, oh look at that. I could I know you can hear it because I can hear it, the sirens and all that. Yeah, so again, I apologize. So yeah, I finally got my foot in the door. They they accepted me. I got to do it, and I was very nervous because I just I don't know. I think I'm still trying to figure out the crowd. Like what kind of art they like generally, and I mean that's kind of hard. I mean, it's it could be challenging to figure that out. And I've been doing the pop-up markets here for you know for a while, for a couple I don't even want to say a couple of years. I've only been living in Richmond for about 3 years now. Uh and it's like yeah, I don't even know what my quota is. I should figure that's the thing. I never wrote down like what my quota is, like how many markets I want to do. And I think I addressed that on the last episode that I want to be more active on the market scene as well as the art gallery scene, which I'm kind of realizing now is not difficult, but there's definitely a little more planning for exhibits at least, because I really want to showcase my art series Tech Utopia, and the crowds at the artisan markets, they're getting they're definitely getting a glimpse of that when I put it out there on my at my table. So the people that attend the markets, they definitely get a taste of the Tech Utopia series. But I really want to showcase it. I want to have a nice, strong showcase for it at an art gallery, and I think I have enough work to occupy a significant amount of wall space. But I really want to have a nice exhibit where I can maybe have a room and put all that up there. And that has been up for discussion as of late, and that's really exciting because sort of recap the new audience tuning in. I've been submitting artwork at this at this art gallery called Artworks, and I typically I usually apply or submit art for these monthly all media art shows, so that way they can get a taste of what my work is and what I'm about. And I've been successfully been accepted at everyone that I've submitted to, and the last two that I did, I'm very grateful to have received the honorable mention for the pieces that I submitted. So that's been nice. It's a nice confidence boost. Um, so yeah, trying to get more active on both scenes. And now I've been speaking with one of the administrators at the gallery about actually occupying wall space to put my work up there, because they've been enjoying the work I submit, and just I guess the reception of it has been positive. So they're like, hey, why don't we see if you want to rent out wall space or even studio space. So that's really exciting. I'm trying to figure out, I went over there to see what options they had. And I'm kind of on a low budget. So I'm this the first time the whichever wall space I'm gonna rent out, it's probably not gonna be that big. Like again, I'm still figuring out which art pieces I want to put up because you know, part of me wants to share a little bit of the Tech Utopia art, but according to the I don't know the administrator was like, oh, why don't we do the because I have food portraits, food paintings that was well received, so she was suggesting, oh, maybe we should do the food, and I'm like, yeah, we can do that, uh, but I don't know, something inside me wants to again really push the Tech Utopia work. So then we talked about maybe we can do both. A couple of pieces from a couple of the food paintings, and then a couple of the Tech Utopia paintings. And I feel like no matter how you arrange that on the wall, it's such a what's the word? Like just like polar opposites. Yeah, it's like whether you're gonna do like one theme, like one side is like the food, and then the other side, the other end of the wall is the Tech Utopia art, and it's just like such a weird, it's such a weird combination. So I feel a little more strongly on just focusing on one uh one subject matter or one theme, and I think I'm probably gonna showcase the food paintings first, even though that's still in develop. I mean, both these series are in development, but I just started doing more food portraits, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll just get like small wall space just to put maybe 4 or 5 food paintings up there. But anyway, the reason one of the reasons why I'm bringing the food paintings up is because how well that was received by the crowd at the market this past weekend. Um, which is yeah, that's when the quit your day job market went down this past Saturday, and I for the first time I put out my fried chicken painting, which I did. Was that last year? It's either last year or the year before. I did a painting of a plate of a 2 piece and a biscuit, and I was like, all right, you know what? Let me just. I've been holding on to this for a while. Let me put it out on the table, get a nice frame for it, and it's it's basically been the like one of the major attractions, if not the attraction. The food art is definitely attracting the people that have been passing by my table, because I also have this 5x7 painting of s'mores, and people are just like eyeballing that too, and like I'm glad people are liking it, are gravitating towards it. I'm like, oh man, like I gotta find that one person that will buy it, because, and I understand why they they didn't buy it. It's a little pricier than buying a large print, even at that. But yeah, I was like, all right, I don't know, I gotta, what's the word? I just gotta stick with the pricing and the value of the work. I've been underselling my stuff for so long. I mean, even till this day, I think I still undersell my work, and it's tough. It's tough to really, you know, at least for me, it's been challenging to find like real investors of the art. People that really appreciate the craft and everything that goes behind it. Not just like, oh, cute. It's a food portrait, still life. Like I'm hoping to really start attracting people that really do invest their money on art. Um, so yeah, so many people were just talking about the fried chicken painting, It's 11 by 14, so it's a nice size. And they're like, man, it's getting me hungry. And I'm like, shit, like, can you imagine painting that thing? Because I definitely got Popeyes after painting it. And yeah, that's gonna be a challenge because I feel like I have a oh, what's the word? Like I called it a food disorder, but I think I can't think of the proper term for it. But yeah, once I see food, I just want to start craving it easily. Even a few mentions of a certain dish, I'm like, oh shit, I kind of want that now. Um, so yeah, uh, I will say, for with the event being my first experience with Richmond Makers Market, uh, I did well. I should say I did very well. I exceeded my expectations, which usually aren't that high, especially if I'm doing an event for the first time. Uh, the hope is always to break even. And uh yeah, we easily broke even. We made that money back fairly quick, so that was nice. Uh but it's funny because, like, again, I'm still figuring out what people um are more receptive to at the markets. Is it original art, or will they only want to buy prints because they're cheaper? And also, like, what's the art that they're purchasing? And in my case, I've been I've been making sales on the some of the older anime fan art that I have, which is good because I'm trying to, I feel like I've been saying this a lot. I don't know if on the podcast or like when I'm talking to other vendors, but I'm really trying to sell out all my old stuff so I can focus on new work. Um, so yeah, I've been selling. We've been selling because Nicole helps me at these events. So we've been selling the anime fan art a little more frequently, and when people do purchase any of the original um artwork that I put out there, it's like either the robot uh or um my Raven piece from both pieces are part of the Techutopia series, but it's either the robot or the Raven. And I think I just kind of assume the Raven because the Edgar Allan Poe Museum is here in Richmond. So I've always kind of just, correlated that. So yeah. Um but I've been, you know, we had a vendor next to us that that I'm actually acquainted with, and we were talking, and she definitely brought up some interesting points because we always question, like, how do these organizers jury the the vendors? And she actually brought up a good point that it's like is the organizer, are they themselves an artist or a hand a maker, as they call them, a crafter, or are they just an employee or some sort of associate of of that venue? Because like, the thing is, like, all these pop-up markets, for the most part, I'd say, that I know, the ones that I've been attending to and have been visiting, they're always at a brewery. So I'm wondering if they work at the brewery, or they're just well connected with them. But I never even considered that, like, who, what their background is, like the person that the organizer, like, are they themselves an artist or a creator, or they just love pop-up markets and supporting local businesses and all that, which is great. but it does bring concern. Uh, you know, um, and I wonder why, and I wonder if that's why. I'm just wondering. Maybe that's why it's been not difficult, but maybe that's why it's been taking this long for me to get on board with some of these events. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I was like the last time I spoke about Richmond Makers Market, I was very whiny and I was just I don't know. The I was at a different state of mind then, and unfortunately it's always too late when I do reflect and realize, oh, like, man, like I was at the time I was expressing this because of how I felt, and who know. You live and you learn, and you learn when you learn. So it's all good though. I would like to do more events with them. Um, if not full, like that's the thing with these pop-up markets, because there's so many. If I do well at these events, it'd be nice to be able to do them like full time. But yeah, who knows? It really all depends on how well I sell. So and I hate to admit it, like some of the stuff I have is a little outdated, I feel like. Um, like a lot of the pieces, a lot of the like prints and all that, like they're all from like 2000, what was it, 2017, I think. Maybe even earlier. So I'm like, fuck, I gotta get these out. I gotta get all these out. Um, but anyway, all in all, it was a great turnout. I had a lot of great um, conversations with the attendees. Actually, I do have footage. Maybe I should. I just remembered. I have footage, so I do plan on putting together a short vlog. Um, to yeah, just to show my YouTube subscribers what I be doing. And actually, that's a great segue to the next topic, making vlogs on YouTube. Because I hate calling myself a content creator or a YouTuber, even though in reality, yes, I mean, we've all kind of signed up to unknowingly um are content creators on social media, even though we're just trying to sell our art or or whatever it is that we're producing. But yeah, ultimately we do also end up becoming content creators to hopefully lead to making sales and gain clients. But that being said, it's hard for me to, yeah, I have trouble leaving my table. Even when I have help, I have trouble leaving my table to take footage. And I noticed even after doing putting together the last vlog, um, it's a little repetitive. You kind of get a glimpse of the location, and then I do like a walk around tour to see all the other vendors there, and uh yeah, like I love making these videos, but I really want to try to capture our interactions, me and my wife, like when we're talking to our customers. Like I want to be able to catch these candid moments with these people, and it's hard to do that without being fucking sketchy, like or like I did like I've got some footage at one of the artisan markets that my friend puts together, and it's just selfies. It's just like on a selfie mode of me talking to the people, which is kind of weird because you know, yeah, it's weird. but I want to be respectful of the person I'm talking to because I don't want to fucking be like, doing this and just, have the phone visible as I'm trying to have an engaging, authentic conversation with the person. So you know, and like, even if I were to ask Nicole to, it's like it's a weird request. Be like, hey, hun, can you like if you catch me talking to somebody, can you like get video of that? Also because like they're gonna see, they're gonna notice her without a doubt. Notice her pull out her phone to capture this moment. But yeah. So having said that, I definitely need a cameraman or camera woman to assist me on recording some footage, and I would gladly accommodate to you know whatever requests they may have, whether it's and like I don't even need them to do it for that long. I would pay them for like an hour, uh let them get a percentage of our makings, or I would just pay them out of pocket and be like, "Ah, can you capture footage for me for an hour, when the markets pop in and there's a huge crowd, and if you notice me or Nicole like interacting with people, that'd be great. Catch some candid moments. Like I often am working at our table, like just creating new, just making new art to sell on the spot. Or if I'm doing like a scavenger art hunt piece for the event. Um, so yeah, if I can find somebody, I mean, granted, it would be somebody I know, and just see if they're available that particular date. But yeah, I gotta consider maybe just hiring somebody for like an hour or two, or even just pay for their gas or food, just some way to pay them so that they can help me out. So yeah, if you're listening or you're watching and you are a you know Richmond resident, holla, leave a comment, send me a DM on social media. I would love to work with you. Plus you'd be if you don't know me, I'd love to meet you. That's weird. Uh, so yeah, I gotta hire somebody for that stuff. Um, what else? So recently I've been having like this I don't want to say urge, but I definitely have a strong interest on getting back getting back onto animation. I've been thinking about it for a while now. I probably mentioned it here and there on the podcast. But yeah, I really I've been really been considering it, but it's just like a matter of time, like time management. Like I gotta really, I don't know. I might be overthinking it, but because like if I'm gonna revisit animation, I want to make sure I tidy up my skills because it's been a fucking long time since I've animated anything, and I'm old fashioned. Well, how long has it been? Like what, 10 years ago? A little over 10 years ago. When I graduated college, I have an animation degree, so I know how to do it. I just gotta find the right, which I have the right animation app for it. Um, so I just gotta dive in and shake off the cobwebs, and just get bite down and get to it. Uh, but again, I want to do things right. Even if I got to really humble myself and go back to basics, and you know how I'm gonna do that, or what is it that I'm gonna do, is I'm probably gonna go back to uh the bouncing ball animation. Like that, I remember that was like one of our first animation assignments was a ball bouncing. So I might have to go all the way back to that and just because I said I'm old fashioned, and what I meant by that is that I do things, or I used to animate frame by frame, and I feel like I'm really gonna reveal my age, or at least just how old I am. But when we were in college, like Flash animation was booming. Like that was like the main one of the main ways of animating. So um and I think we actually used to do instead of 24 frames per second with we would do two. It'd be like every 2 frames, right? Um but anyway, I mean still it's frame by frame. Um and that's it gets real tedious, especially the more complicated the subject matter is. So yeah, one day, one day, I'm gonna get back into it. If you follow me on social media, you'll know when I'm back on it. Because recently I've been sharing some of the old animations that I've worked on in school, and yeah, I was just getting real reminiscent of it. I'm like, damn, I kind of want to get back to it. And not even just that, like I even consider maybe I might even revisit some of the animation projects that I that I've shared, and either um continue them, or maybe even remaster them and see if I can make them look better, with especially using a different animation tool. So um yeah, it's super intriguing. It's exciting, but also a little nerve-wracking because again, I gotta humble myself, and it's gonna require some patience on top of everything else that I'm doing. Bringing the podcast back now, and then trying to be more active on the pop-up market scene and art gallery scene. So like, but well, I always say we'll see, but I got to stay firm on it and be like, yeah, we're definitely gonna do this shit. So that's been on my mind, and what really encouraged me was watching Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, uh, because they use stop motion, and it was just I don't know, man, watching the behind the scenes and everything. I was like, man, it's so cool. And it really took me back. Like, even though it was stop motion and I was studying 2D animation, it's the concept of the process of it was still, you know, it still resonated. It was actually the same, you know, capturing the movements frame by frame. And um yeah, just watching that just really, really inspired me to want to get back on it. So if you haven't seen it, check it out, because I don't know, like, of course it's Guillermo. I'm fucking up his name. Del Toro. If you're familiar with his style, he did Hellboy, he did was it Labyrinth, and I mean he's done a whole bunch of other shit. And the cabinet, the cabinet of secrets, something like that, which I started watching but never got to finish. But yeah, I've always admired his work because he uses prosthetics, and he's kind of traditional in that matter, when it comes to like special effects and all that. So I've always admired his work for that. And yeah, just seeing the bonus features of the creation of his Pinocchio film just really, really did inspire me. So again, uh if you don't follow me on social media and you want to see my work as of right now, yeah, hit follow me. I don't Art of G Toronto. I should probably mention now, even though we're like 40 minutes in, but I'm bad at words. That's gonna be like that's like my catchphrase for the podcast, which is ironic because it's a podcast, but I really am bad at words, and I do apologize. um. Anyway, moving on. How about a couple of updates on our projects? As I've been talking about this whole time, really, Tech Utopia and the food portraits, those two series have been a major focus thus far, and even though I haven't been putting out new art for the Tech Utopian series, I've been I have like a list of all these ideas that I want to create, and I'm really excited. I just gotta again figure out my time management, and see just see it through. Um, as well as the food portraits I have, which by the way I'm gonna call it. I think I'm gonna call it the food gallery. If you think I should call it something else, please leave a comment. I would love to hear your ideas. But right now, for now, I'm gonna call it the food gallery. Um, and I have a whole list of food portraits that I'm gonna work on. And I don't know if I really touched in on like the story behind this painting series. I probably did, but again, maybe you're new here. Um so essentially, we all like to take food selfies, right? It's definitely a guilty pleasure of mine. And I figured, hey, to relieve myself of that guilt, at least a little bit, I was like, I'm gonna paint these food selfies that I take. Um, that way I'm just not your typical schmo, just like, trying to have like a nice meal with my wife, and the food comes, and I gotta take the picture first, so I gotta take a picture of her plate. So the way to alleviate that guilt is to turn it into a painting. And I figured, hey, this would make it a more uh unique series, because now you're not just seeing any still life of a plate. Like I I'm like documenting through art, like I'm documenting like the food that I eat, on the regular or on a special occasion. So I have saved all of the, like, not all, but what I think will are more intriguing plates. Because again, like, culinary is an art. So I've always admired, the way the cooks would plate their dishes. And I mean, shit, you got all those like cooking shows, right? So yeah, I've always admired that. And because of the type of artist that I am, doing portraits, landscapes, still life, I wanted to really try to capture the beauty of the dishes. And that's been the general consensus from the people that have seen some of my paintings. It's just how well I captured it. Like when they're looking at it, they tell me, they're like, "Oh, and it's making me hungry." Um, and actually, you can ooh, ooh. You can see this one right behind me. The Snake Plissken burger from our local restaurant, Cobra Cabana. One of my favorite restaurants to eat at. That burger is so good. Um, so yeah, that's one of the paintings that was awarded the um honorable mention. And yeah, people, when people like at this past market, everyone that was looking at the s'mores or the fried chicken, they're like, "Oh, that looks so good." And it's funny because there was a another vendor table, uh like the assistant, like she came up at the end and she's, you know, I was, grateful that she bought something. But she was like, "Oh, I've been eyeing this piece, but I've also been eyeing the fried chicken because it looks so good and it's making me hungry." And like, part of me is like, "Oh, come on, you want to buy it?" But the fried chicken is it's a pricey item. So again, I understand. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just, again, it's been so well received. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna move forward with this. Uh, and again, it's like such a polar opposite of my the Tech Utopia series. So I don't know. I think that's a good thing because, like, if I got one series that's like, so prophetic and revealing of the direction our society is going with technology, now I bring comfort with food. so, so yeah, I have, again, I have notes, I have ideas on how I'm gonna move forward with these two art series. It's just a matter of executing. And yeah, I guess the key words for this episode is time management because I'm also trying to push commissions out there as well. So yeah, I gotta really coordinate my, you know, what I focus on. Um, but that's all part of the journey. That's part of the fun. Um, but yeah, yeah, I already talked about wall space. So yeah, I think going back to um, you know, renting wall space with artworks, I'm probably gonna start off with the food portraits. Um, I'll probably put this guy back up, the burger. I also have another painting that I had uh up at the gallery. It's a breakfast biscuit that I had in North Carolina. It was so good. So good I had to paint it. So I might put those two back up, and then the fried chicken, and I have the s'mores. So I got fried chicken, s'mores, the burger, the biscuit. I have a new one that I posted on my social. It's the Reese's cheesecake cheesecake slice, Reese's buttercup, peanut butter cup. It was so good. Which was baked by our another local here in Richmond. Cheesecakes by Sean. I want to make sure I got that right. Cheesecakes by Sean. And I love peanut butter. So if you don't know me, know that I love peanut butter and I love cheesecake. So my wife, knowing me so well, she got me for my birthday. She got me a cheese peanut Reese's peanut butter cup cheesecake, and it was so good. Um, so yeah, that's probably what. And I'm currently working on another. And these are like small pieces too. They're no besides the fried chicken because I was like kind of like the first food portrait I did. That's 11 by 14, but the other ones they're all either 5 by 5 or 5 by 7. And you know, part of me wants to kind of keep it in that range. Uh, unless like I'm working on a very complicated dish, I might do a larger size. I don't know. I'm still kind of playing it by ear, but generally, I think I want to keep it in that, 5 by 5 or 5 by 7 scale. So, all right, what are we at? About 50, almost 50 minutes, an hour in. Whew, okay, because I wanted to do a news roundup real quick. Um, Kind of revisiting the topic of AI. Uh, AI creations because I don't know about you, but I maybe because of my algorithm, I'm receiving all these articles about AI, and I think it goes without saying, there's been several articles that have piqued my interest. I know a lot of artists have concerns and are worried about the current state of uh, AI paintings, and and yeah, I'm very concerned as well. Um, but I do want to flip and say, I believe there are benefits to it. It's just a matter of how it's used. If it's used responsibly, within reason, I don't think it can do harm. But of course, we are humans, so we always find a way to fuck shit up. But I'm just gonna. There are some articles that I kind of glanced through, and then some new ones that. Sorry, my watch is going off. Get my steps in. And then some of them that I just read the headlines but never really skimmed through it. But I'll try to do this quickly. So this first one, let's see, what's the headline? Can you pull it up for me, Jamie? Just kidding. I don't have a Jamie. All right, so how Naruto and a PETA court case could strike a blow against AI art. Also, I should mention some of these, some of the articles are from like December. So I don't know if that really matters or not, but whatever. I think I put a picture of a monkey here. So let's see. I don't really care. I'm just gonna try to read some of these parts of the article real quick. I don't really care if an artificial intelligence system called Skynet takes over the world like it did in Terminator. However, I do have a problem with the rise in AI art and what it means for human artists. Yeah, so to kind of put it lightly, right? We're a lot of us visual artists are worried about just how, like, even though like it's at a infant stage, like it's still really fucking fascinating what AI creations is able to accomplish. Not even just like paintings, but fucking pictures, uh literature, music, like all this shit that's happening right now is like, and again, it's at an infantile stage, but it's astonishing. But yeah, well, a lot of us are concerned because like fucking now people with just a few taps, you know, or clicks of a button, you can generate something right there in a matter of minutes, seconds. So I don't know the current state right now, but as far as I know, the AI cannot paint hands. I can at least draw hands. So if I have a one up on AI, it's that I can draw hands. No, but yeah, I mean, so with that capability, you could easily put us out of business. Um, but again, it all depends on the consumer. If they value art that is actually man-made, human-made, sure enough, they will support them. But again, it's such an easy access now with AI that I don't know. Well, they like there was I should have probably pulled that article up. I remember seeing a headline saying how there was an artist that won an art contest with AI art, and it's like, what the fuck? Because all you got to do is what, type in some keywords in the word generator, and then it just kind of comes up with whatever, what you typed in, and like that's it. So I can see how that's controversial. What else is this thing? So to qualify as a work of authorship, A work must be created by a human being. Works that do not satisfy this requirement are not copyrightable. It looks like, and so they say, it looks like we may already have a law in place to battle the evil AI artist, and we have a monkey named Naruto to thank for it. Interesting. Okay, so that's why they have this picture of the monkey. Okay. Um, oops, let me scroll back down. A selfie that actually did something good. So in 2015, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, sued photographer David Slater on behalf of a monkey named Naruto. PETA claimed Slater was profiting unfairly off of the artistic work of Naruto. Sorry, I am that person that rolls the R with certain names and words depending on the, I don't want to say ethnicity or whatever, but yeah, anyway. Years before the lawsuit, Slater had visited Indonesia where he took photos of endangered uh celebes, crested macaques. I apologize if I butchered that. But anyway, at one point, the monkeys got a hold of his camera and took selfies before Slater could get it back. Some of the resulting selfies, including a close-up picture of a smiling Naruto, Slater opted to sell to various publishing outlets. So, there's a Twitter post here. So everybody thank Naruto the Masak for helping set the precedent that copyrightable material requires human authorship. This monkey may have single-handedly destroyed the AI art industry. Huh. All right. Before I continue, I want to see how you pronounce this word. Is it Masak? Or because I think it was the last AI episode I was talking about monkeys and they were talking about masaks, and I don't know if I said it right. Hold on, let me pronunciation. Okay, what does this say?
Macaque.
Oh wow, okay. My bad, everyone. I was I was really butchering it. It's macaque, which is actually hilarious. Do I need to say why? Macaque. Got a picture of macaque here. What else does this shit say? There's another Twitter post. Today I woke up to the lovely news that an AI generated comic lost its copyright protection because the USPTO determined that copyrightable works require human authorship. Great step in the right direction. Okay, so they're just kind of praising this thing that's happening. Is that all that really talks about? So PETA argued that the copyright of the photos and any profits made from them should belong to Naruto and the other crested macaques instead of Slater. And 20 I mean the monkey, like how you, the monkey, what are you gonna, the monkey can't, well, it's copyright, so I mean, all right, I don't want to get lost in it. So in 2016, a U.S. judge ruled that the copyright law didn't cover non-human entities and dismissed the case. The Copyright Office's laws revised in 2014 say it does not register works produced by nature, animals, or plants. Basically, the accepted legal standpoint is this: human authorship is critical to creating lawful copyright. So, all right. So I guess it didn't, um, you know, it was a monkey that took the photo. So I guess the copyright doesn't really apply. So that's hey, I think we're on the right direction there. There's some hope. That's the thing. Like while I'm covering some of these AI articles, I don't want to be all doom and gloom because I feel like the last episode that I did um was kind of like a bit of a downer. uh I mean, it's as I go through these articles, it's gonna be like, it's still gonna bring concerns. This next article says AI art companies and deviant art are being sued by artists. Okay, I wonder if this has any like sort of similarities to what I was talking about earlier with that artist, the contest winner. Stability AI and Midjourney, two of the biggest names in the exploding field of AI generated imagery, and portfolio site DeviantArt have become the target of a class action lawsuit filed in California on behalf of artists. As we've as we've covered previously, AI generated imagery is a highly contentious field, one where artists write algorithms not to follow a set of rules, but to learn a specific aesthetic by analyzing thousands of images. The algorithm then tries to generate new images at adherence to the aesthetic it has learned. Right. So that was that was the controversy there is that, you know, I guess before the AI art is produced, it uses all these like all the photos, all the photo references that are out there on the web. You know, shit. It could even be some of my pictures. It will bring up all these references to create the thing. Um, so yeah, I can I'd be pissed too. If I see something out there that kind of looks like my shit, I'll be like, yeah, what the fuck? Uh, the suit has been brought forward by three plaintiffs, all artists: Sarah Anderson of Sarah's Scribbles, Kelly McKernan, and Carla Ortiz, who, on behalf of all artists affected, are seeking compensation for damages caused by Stability AI, DeviantArt, and Midjourney, and an injunction to prevent future harms. It makes numerous and serious allegations. The lawsuit alleges direct copyright infringement, vicarious copyright infringement related to forgeries, violations of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, violation of class members' rights of publicity, breach of contract related to the DeviantArt terms of service, and various violations of California's unfair competition laws. So interesting. Just kind of skimming through this. Okay. All right. So, I mean, look, right? While this shit is booming, at least there are people out there that are trying to push back, or taking repercussions of this because again, man, when shit like this hits the ground, it fucking starts running. And I feel like, that's always been my main concern and complaint about this, this current age that we're in right now with like the advancements of technology is that like I just feel like we don't let it settle. Like we don't fucking really let it settle in and get used to it and use it responsibly. Like this shit happens so fast with a large mass population of people all around the world, and like just shit just keeps moving up and up, and then it starts causing harm. Sure, not physical harm, not yet, but it does damage what we're trying to accomplish, or even not even accomplish, but it affects our day to day. And yeah, so there's that. What's this one? Oh, okay. This one. Sorry, I keep itching my nose. It fucking happens every time. I wonder if that's nerves. Because I've I've touched on it on an on another episode. I'm like, I didn't count, but I clipped every time I was scratching my nose, rubbing my nose, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I don't do coke, all right. I'm not down with the Snow White, the nose candy. Uh, what else do they call it? Yeah, I'm not down with that, but I'm always like, no. But I am a cat dad, so I feel like hair and shit. Anyway, we're fascinated by these AI generated party pics, especially their demonic mutations. Thanks for the nightmares, it says. Yeah, so I guess you know, the next the new fad is people generating party pics with AI, which I don't know what the point of that is, but this involves Midjourney. Uh, so no, they aren't demons from hell disguising themselves as human college students at a 90s era house party. Instead, these unnerving party pics were dreamed up by AI image generator Midjourney, and the longer you stare at them, the more otherworldly they appear. Is that because they can't, like AI still figuring out the human anatomy? Oh. Uh, Developer Miles Zimmerman first shared the now viral images on Twitter over the weekend, a goosebumps inducing demonstration of how far these tools have come. Midjourney is getting crazy powerful. None of these are real photos, and none of the people in them exist, says Zimmerman. Yeah, that's again, that's another wild part of it. It's like you can just like make up people. uh Several images show partygoers holding up what appears to be I'll make sure I insert photos for YouTube. So several images show partygoers holding up what appear to be obsolete pieces of alien machinery, likely Midjourney's algorithm attempting to render images of point and shoot or Polaroid cameras. The images also highlight how tools like Midjourney struggle to render believable images of human hands. See? One image shows a woman's hand with upwards of 9 fingers, furthering the sense that the revelry is uh, emanating from a cursed parallel dimension. Another shows a disembodied hand floating in midair. There's a quote here by a user. Something seems off, but I can't quite put my fingers. I see what you did there. So let's see some of these because I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I saw this one photo, blonde and brunette in there, and it looks like I guess like this. I guess it's supposed to be some old school camera device, but the fingers holding it looks weird. Like the knuckles, it's like it looks like she's got an extra row of knuckles. Yeah, I mean, you see it in the photo. So yeah, hey, artists, if you're listening or watching, we still have the upper hand. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Six. Okay, this is now involving Chat GPT. 6 scary things Chat GPT has been used for already. Yeah, this is now this is really concerning. So the text generator from OpenAI is imperfect at creating factually accurate or interesting writing. Excuse me. But it can create relatively appropriate text for just about any prompt in no time at all. That's pretty remote. Well, okay. Yeah, of course, all this shit's gonna be imperfect because it's still in its beginning stages. But that being said, it's still fascinating what it can accomplish. But that doesn't mean everything is gonna be perfect from the get go. So yeah, there's still a lot of shit that needs to be tweaked. But I mean, should we really tweak it? Tweak all the bugs? No. So yeah, that's pretty remarkable. And even with the bevy of built-in filters, that can be pretty dangerous as well. Perhaps unsurprisingly, people have already found uses for the tool that are less than ideal, right? I said that earlier. Anything that can create content out of whole cloth can likely create something dangerous. It's just a matter of time. So what are the 6 things? One, creating malware, however you say it. GPT creating malware is legit scary. Not really because malware is anything new, but rather, I don't even know what that shit does. But anyway, I always known about it, but never really knew the specifics of it. But rather because Chat GPT can do it endlessly. AIs don't sleep. That's right. They don't because they're not human. In info info security info security magazine wrote that cybersecurity researchers were able to create a polymorphic program that is highly elusive and difficult to detect. Now, to be clear, I am no cybersecurity expert, but basically, the researchers could use the app to create code for malware, then use the app to create variations on that code to make it hard to detect or stop. In other words, we can mutate the output on a whim, making it unique every time, researchers told Info Security magazine. Yeah, what the fuck? Um, Number 2, cheating in school. Boy, would this help my grades when I was in high school and college. Now, okay, this is less scary but more predictable. Tool that can make text about anything, literally perfect for a kid trying to cheat in school, and kids love cheating in school. I was one of them. Professors have already said they've caught students in the act, while school districts across the country have banned the app. It's hard to see this trend slowing, however, and likely AI will just become another tool kids are allowed to use to learn. Yeah, it's hard. I feel like it's already difficult to find a medium here, and I don't know, like if these people that are um coming up with like laws or like repercussions of misuse of AI creations, like as long as they keep, doing their thing, like, hopefully we'll be able to find a medium where AI creation use is less harmful to our society, but we'll see. Number 3, using it to spam on dating apps. Boy. So first, going back to number 2, I'm glad that shit wasn't around when I was still in school, right? Um, Plus, like the internet wasn't that great, especially when I was in grade school. Anyway, so back to and dating. Number 3, dating apps. I'm glad that I married my high school sweetheart. we joke about it all the time. If we were back on the market, we'd be fucked. Uh, which sorry if any of you that are single take offense to that, my bad. But I mean, let's be real. Shit's crazy out there. Crazier. So, okay, maybe spam isn't the perfect word, but people are using Chat GPT to chat with matches on Tinder. People are letting AI take over the legwork of a conversation. While it's not necessarily frightening, it's pretty unsettling to think you could be chatting with an app instead of a potential partner. It's dating and devolved into growth hacking. Yo, for real. Because, like, I mean, surely it's probably, maybe it is AI, but I've been having like I've been tricked by bots on Instagram specifically. Like I've had these accounts, these fake accounts, DM me regarding commission work, and you know, I'm not gonna lie, I fell for them a couple times, but like the last, like the last couple of times I've been contacted regarding commission work. I've noticed there's kind of like a script, or at least the way they spoke or the way they wrote was there was like I was able to find it telling them like, all right, this is weird because like you sound almost exactly like the last person, quote unquote, the last person I spoke to regarding commission work. Like they use the same phrasing, and even like kind of like the mannerisms, which I know is hard to to read when you're reading text, but like the way they spoke was similar. So I'm like, oh, this shit's a bot. And it, of course it was. But this sucks, man. This sucks, especially for people that are out there in the dating world. Like that's always been my argument with social media is yes, it's great that we have the apps, the social media apps, the platforms to connect us, to connect people from across the world. But it's now getting to a point where, you know, how authentic is that conversation, how that connection is. And I mean, when we're talking about dating, like now it's going to even be more unauthentic. It's not going to be as authentic or organic because it's all fucking written shit. Like, and now people have to worry about whether they're, talking to a bot or not. So, anyway, number 4, taking jobs of writers. Yes. So, like I was saying, with visual artists, writers have to worry about this. I'm gonna kind of go a little bit ahead and see. All right, but like not only writers, but even music composers, like they're they have to worry too. Um, so this one, sure, it just says, this is just one example, but should I be worried about my job? Okay, that's the writer. So what they shared a tweet here. A client informed me that he will no longer pay me to write content for his website because AI can write it for free, but he wants to pay me a fraction of my usual rate to rewrite it in different words so it can pass Google's AI detection screening. So, that's pretty fucked up. It's like, dude, you might as well just have the actual writer do it for you instead of having AI do it, right? It's almost like they're adding a step, but because adding that step in there is gonna, hopefully cost you less. Like, fuck you, man, if you're doing that shit. Like, fuck you to the person that is using AI to create their, content or whatever, and then still try to hire the actual artist for less. Like, fuck you, man. All right, number 5, phishing and scamming. It's tougher to prove that this one has already happened, but it stands to reason that Chat GPT or similar AI writing tools would be perfect for phishing. For phishing, phishing messages are often easy to spot because of their broken language, but with Chat GPT, that can all be fixed. Experts have said this is pretty clear use case for the app. So that's probably, yeah. That's what I was just talking about when I was talking. Well, when I had a fake account reach out to me for commission work, their language, it was broken. Like it was like, is this the last few times it happened, I was questioning, like, is this person like a foreigner? Because it wasn't like proper English. It was broken. So let's get to the last thing. Number 6, it can fool job recruiters. So everyone knows the struggle of applying to jobs. It's seemingly endless, often demoralizing process that hopefully ends with the reward of a good job. But if you're out there applying to jobs, you might be missing out on your dream gig to an AI app. Ooh, yeah, that's rough. A consultancy firm reportedly found that applications written by Chat GPT beat out 80% of humans. What? It's easy to see how Chat GPT would nail all the keywords that will catch recruiters' eyes or more likely pass through the filters set out by HR software. Dude, like, what is this? Tim Marson is a culture reporter at Mashable, where he writes about food, fitness, weird stuff on the internet, and well, just about anything else. Oh, okay. I guess he whatever. Um, damn, like, and that's what I'm talking about, man. Like it's like sometimes it feels like, man, we're really stepping up. We're taking big steps up, you know, advancing our lives, but the repercussions force us to take two major steps back. Maybe not all cases, but I feel like, you know, that kind of seems to be a big case nonetheless. So, all right, next one. Uh, yeah, I don't know if you're still listening or watching. I hope like like I really hope whoever's like tuning in is like isn't as informed, to already know this shit. Like I hope this is an educational segment of this episode. Because like I'm gonna get through one more headline, and then I'm gonna try to get on the more on the brighter side of AI use if there even is one. But okay, so this article, I kind of went through this, and I think fans of Hayao Miyazaki have seen this clip of him talking about AI art, which is fascinating because it's an old clip, I believe. So an insult to life itself says, Studio Ghibli's Hayao Miyazaki condemns AI art. So I'm not gonna even like go through the article, but like there's a video that had gone around, and it's probably going around now again because of AI. But there's like this video where I guess there was one of the animators. I don't know if it was one of his animators at his studio or like just someone trying to pitch this idea, but there was like or maybe they're not animators, they're more engineers, but there's like these engineers that made this robot arm so that it can animate, instead of having an actual animator present. Because if you're not familiar with Studio Ghibli, excuse me, it's traditional art. It's frame by frame, hand drawn traditional animation. And um and he still to this day still prefers to do it that way. And in the video, they're pitching it to him. They demonstrate it and they show the results, and it's so visible that Miyazaki is just not impressed. He is not impressed. And the reason being, in his words here, he says, "I am utterly disgusted. If you really want to make creepy stuff, you can go ahead and do it," says the 81-year-old director. "I would never wish to incorporate this technology into my work at all. I strongly feel that this is an insult to life itself. I feel like we are nearing the end of times," he continues. "We humans are losing faith in ourselves." And you know what? Yeah, 100, 1000%. Like, hey, look, right? As easy as AI creations make life for us, I feel like just saying that alone says a lot. Like, yeah, it makes things easier for us, which in return kind of shows that we have less faith in ourselves to accomplish those things, whatever the thing is. So, animating, like shit, like I can't animate this. Well, you know what? I'll just use AI to do it for me. Like, where's the reward in that, right? And yeah, and it's funny because like I believe in the video after he says those things, like you can see it. You can see it in the look of the. I get like again. I'm saying they're engineers, but you can see in they look so defeated. Like, oh man, he does not approve of this. Um, Actually, here the video is here, so I'm gonna play it. Uh, surely the listeners can hear it. But I will make sure I include the video uh on the YouTube video as well. Let's. So this is a presentation of an artificial intelligence model which learned. Here. I'm trying to like do the fucking Joe Rogan thing here. I can. This is a presentation of an artificial intelligence model which learns certain movements. It looks like it's dancing. This is the example of fast movement that we had the model learn. It's moving by using its head. It doesn't feel any pain and has no concept of protecting its head. It uses its head like a leg. This movement is so creepy and could be applied to zombie video games. An artificial intelligence could present us grotesque movements which we humans can't imagine. This is what we have been working on. Again, looking unimpressed. Every morning, not recent days, but I see my friend who has a disability. It's so hard for him just to do a high five. His arm with stiff muscles reaching out to my hand. Now, thinking of him, I can't watch this stuff and find interesting. Whoever creates this stuff has no idea what pain is or whatsoever. I am utterly disgusted. If you really want to make creepy stuff, you can go ahead. Yeah, so. Yeah, and it's like looking at the guys like, the guy looks befuddled. This is just our experiment. We don't mean to do anything by showing it to the world. Yeah, I understand. Studio Ghibli, Suzuki. So what is your goal? Well, we would like to build a machine that can draw pictures like humans do. Okay, so my bad. I think earlier I said that they had a robot arm. I must have thought of. I may have been recalling something else, but yeah, they want to use a machine to draw the pictures like humans do, is what this guy is saying. Fuck that. Because I'm trying to recall back the early days when I was attending animation classes. Like, it really made you think. Like, when we would try to animate something, we really had to like study the mechanics of the human anatomy in order to be able to execute whatever it is that we're animating. Like shit, even just talking about frame by frame animation, even we would have to like create what we call keyframes. So like if I'm reaching out, right? So I got this is again for the audio listeners, I apologize. This is really, you can't see what I'm demonstrating here, but if I got my arm bent right here, 90 degree angle, and I want to just animate the arm stretching out straight, so 90 degree arm is like the first keyframe, and then The second keyframe would be when it's about 40 degrees. That would be my second keyframe, and then the last keyframe is when my arm is completely stretched out. So those are keyframes, and then again, like this is when using Flash. Then we would go back and then go back and insert the actual not keyframes, the in between frames. So I go back to the first keyframe. So I start filling in the frames from this point to the 40-degree point, and I would just do boom, 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 boom. Now, when you're animating, if you want the straightening of the arm to be quick, like you can either just keep those keyframes and it'd be like really fucking fast. But if you wanted to slow it down, you would add in more in between frames to make it smoother and slower if necessary. But to really, if you want to have it a smooth, organic movement, you're gonna add more in between frames. And fucking, when I first, just starting to attend the school, like I've never imagined that. So it really, I'm just speaking on my own behalf. Like I had really had to like understand the mechanics of my body to be able to animate what I want to animate. Like one of the assignments in school was to, we had to animate a character, a walk cycle. So again, we had to like study and like, we would have our classmates like demonstrate for us too. Like we would study the body mechanics when we're walking. It's like, all right, when the foot's hitting down, like is it gonna land on the heel first and then do that? You don't want it just, or sorry, I'm like getting too far. So like, let's say my hand is the foot, right? So when you're I can't do this, but essentially like you gotta figure out, it's like, all right, when I'm walking, like how's my foot landing on the ground? Like, is it heel first and then gradually getting onto the balls of my foot, or is it like, am I just flat-footed and I'm just like, almost like a stomp? So like you think about that when you're animating, and like, but when you got AI doing that for you, it just kind of, it takes away your ability to understand and and just have the knowledge of like, oh, like when I'm animating a foot, like it has to be like this. Now you got this machine that just does it for you, and then you have no knowledge other than watching it, watching the results, like how it's done. So yeah, man, fuck that. So, and you know what? Yeah, I'm biased because again, I was an animation student, so I know, the hard work that goes into animating, especially animating objects or people. Like I met another artist. I met an artist a little while ago, and they're like, yeah, I do animations and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And like I saw some of their I saw some of the stuff they did, and I was I'm, I don't want to sound arrogant or anything, but when I saw it, I'm like, that's not animation. That's motion graphics, because it was just like graphics and like images like appearing and into the shot, and it's like, that's, I mean, sure, like things are moving, things are animated, they're moving, but motion graphics, really, that's what I was seeing. Nothing was actually being animated. But yeah. So uh okay, so I have two other articles. I will try to, I said it, I know I said it earlier. I'm gonna say it again. I will try to go through these two briefly. But I do think there are benefits to using AI, but again, it's all again depending on how you're using it, right? Like if you're being responsible about it, and there's like no like ill will or anything. So what I'm getting at is I came across this article regarding Disney, and Disney now has this new AI that can make any actor look younger or older, uh, essentially taking care. It's replacing what, like almost like deep faking, or I mean, I don't even know if they were really well. Well, I think we see a lot on online like deep fakes. It's like, oh, what would it look like, if you had so and so. Like if you try to think of an example, like I'm a Bruce Lee fan, and if you've seen Yip Man, right, starring Donnie Yen, I think it's the last one. How many are there? Four or three? Well, like one of the last ones, it started featuring Bruce Lee because Bruce Lee was his student. And the actor that plays Bruce Lee, I don't know his name, so I apologize, but he is in Kung Fu Hustle and Shaolin Soccer. And I feel like because of Shaolin Soccer, actually, is why they casted him to play Bruce Lee because he looked like him. Like I'm talking body type, the hair, like you know, the mannerisms, like he had that shit down. So they casted him to play Bruce Lee, and then someone deep faked Bruce Lee's face on that actor playing the role, and I was like, oh man, like how cool would it be to like really see Bruce Lee in action on these more you know recent films. And Disney's been famous, with Marvel. They've always been doing like I guess I don't know if it's deep fake or just like whatever the terminology is or whatever the technology is that they use to make, like I just always thought it was a filter where they make like Captain America look old, or what's her name, um the British uh Agent Carter, when they made her look old, like they just kind of, to put it simply, it looked like they put an old filter on them. Uh, but now Disney's got this AI that does that, and so I think that's cool, but it does take away from um makeup artists and like prosthetics. And I am a fan of prosthetics and practical effects. So I mean, I I guess like if you're worried about budget, I guess that's when you gotta like decide, like, all right, is this gonna help with the budget? Because films are fucking expensive nowadays. So is it cheaper? It's like you gotta argue. It's like, is it, not only is it gonna be cheaper, but is the payoff gonna be, like is it gonna come off, is the result gonna be as what we'd hope, you know? Because like sure, like maybe, like I don't know, like is it cheaper to use the AI technology? Well, probably not, because it's just AI, right? So I imagine it's cheaper. Does it say in here? But I'm wondering, like, yeah, like, all right, it's cheaper to use the AI system, but are the results going to be what you anticipate or what you had hoped, as opposed to prosthetics? Because sometimes you can get shit wrong with prosthetic, with makeup. So and that oftentimes can be also, expensive. So I guess it's just, you got to answer those questions, when you cross that bridge. But let's see whether everyone likes it. Big properties like Star Wars here and the Marvel cinematic universe aren't afraid to use technology to de-age actors for flashback scenes or prequels. So it makes sense that Disney Research Studios has a team working on better processes. The newest breakthrough can digitally re-age faces to be either younger or older. It works in various lighting conditions and when the actor isn't facing directly at the camera, whereas previous versions glitch out under those circumstances. It's also production ready, so we could start seeing this better version of re-aging technology soon. So it's funny you said that, like with the regarding to was when the actor isn't facing directly at the camera, because I did see a post on Facebook where I mean, I wonder if it's this. Maybe it's talking about this technology where they use AI. Like I saw like the before and after pictures of like, yeah, if the whoever's on camera, if they happen to not be looking at the camera when they should have been, they'll just use the AI to fix the eyes and make it look like they're looking at the camera. Let's see. Similar to the use to the system used in The Irishman, which Netflix and ILM developed, this system doesn't require an actor's face to be covered in tracking dots. It also doesn't require visual effects artists to spend weeks erasing or adding wrinkles in every frame. The video above shows off the simple interface where all you have to do is enter the actor's age and how old you want them to look. That's interesting. Let's see this video. Oh, it's 6 minutes.
We present Fran, another involved in traditional 3D computer graphics.
Let's take off the audio. I mean, look, again, that's pretty cool, but it's like we got to worry about. Yeah, it's kind of weird. We got to worry about again the outcome, I guess. Like, you know, is it gonna make it look worse or not? So I don't know. Like, I was hoping like this article would kind of just lighten the mood a little bit, you know, giving us some hope. I feel like it's I mean, it depends how you look at it. Uh but I mean, I was kind of hopeful till I started kind of bringing up the questions on whether or not how effective the system using that tool would be, as opposed to, you know, hiring makeup artists and special effects artists. You know, yeah, you're gonna take money out of their pockets with this technology. So, all right, my bad. I guess it's a make or break, or it's a double edged sword. All right. The last article here. This one is regarding AI written essays. So, college student develops new app that detects AI written essays. So I think it's safe to say right now we have people out there. We have these intellectuals that are working on systems that can detect when AI is being used. So at least, you know, I don't want to say like let's put the focus on that, but I don't know. At least we have these people that are still that are working on this. Is what I'm basically saying. So there's still hope. There's still hope. I guess I'm just concerned whether like which way is the pendulum gonna keep swinging. Like, you know, like yeah, I don't know. Eventually things balance itself out. But I've always, because I had this discussion with some distant family members at a Christmas party, and we were talking about, you know, AI, because they know I'm an artist, so they're like, you know, they're asking me these questions and stuff. And you know, I always said that I think it's great for conceptualizing, you know, for reference usage. Um, you know, as I said earlier, like you know, I specialize in portraiture and sure still life, um, landscapes and stuff. So I do use and rely on reference photos. And you know, sometimes when as an artist, when you're trying to visualize something where you don't have the right references to, um, and you just need something, you know, you don't want to, yeah, you don't want to take two concepts or two ideas and mix them up together to create a concept and just get an ideal, um, you know, visual of that. Like I see where AI comes into play for that, right? Because sometimes, um, when I was doing a lot of fan art, I would often, like, sometimes I would like to do these like character mashups and see like, oh, like, what would, you know like I have this old picture of it's a mashup of Wolverine and Vegeta because they are my favorite characters. And so I basically have Wolverine dressed in Vegeta's Saiyan gear in his traditional fighting pose from, like from the Saiyan saga. That was cool, but if I was trying to do something a little more complex than that and try to just get a visual, like, oh, like how would that turn out, then I would imagine myself using AI to just to see what that would look like, and that would be my reference. Um, but like there was cool. I think I'm pretty sure I talked about it on the last AI episode where it's Chris Farley as the Joker, and they came out really cool. But it depends on that person, right? Like if an artist did that, like it's their responsibility to, like if they're gonna sell that as art, like as their art, that's on them. Like I know if I were to use AI for references, like that's all it's gonna be. Like if I wanted to, all right, well, like what would what's that actor from oh geez, the guy that played Elton John. I forget his name, but he's in the what's that other the secret the ooh anyway, that actor. People were kind of like uh recommending him to play the next Wolverine. And all right, what would he look like as Wolverine? Let's see what the AI app comes up with. And then like if I want to illustrate that, let's say, because you know what, here's an example. When when they just casted um who's the actress that plays uh Ahsoka in Star Wars? Uh Something Dawson. Um anyway, I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And so I wanted to, I sketched her as Ahsoka Tano, right? That's her name. Casual Star Wars fan. Um so I had reference photos of Ahsoka, and I had reference photos of the actress. Um and I just kind of meshed them up myself. Like I kind of just envisioned what I just basically in my head took, copy and pasted Dawson's face on the head of Ahsoka Tano, and then I just tried to like illustrate that. But now I could just use the app and see like, all right, what would it look like? You know, what would she look like as Ahsoka before, you know, actual photos of her in makeup was released, right? This was all before everything was, premiered. So yeah, I mean, AI would have been great for that purpose, but I would not use the actual photo and try to sell it as my art. Like it would, like, I don't know, I could feel it within every fiber in my bones. Like I would not condone that. I would not do that. I would just simply use it as reference. And even at that, like I wouldn't, obviously I wouldn't copy it to the T. Like I would definitely change things up. And of course, like I'm illustrating it. So you're gonna see um, you know, you're gonna see the qualities that make it my style, right? Um, so yeah, I think it really, it depends on how this shit is used. Like we need to really just use it as a tool, but without without it, you know, taking the money out of the, these artists, or like the taking the potential away from, people that are, trying to get these jobs, right. Like, it sucks that like 80% of jobs are being taken away, or not being taken away, but 80% of humans are losing the chances of, getting this job that they apply for because of AI. Like, fuck, man. So, I mean, I try to make this try to end this on a lighter note when talking about AI, but it's kind of hard. Uh, but that's all I could really say. It's like, it really depends on the usage of this technology, that will either make us or break us, or just like keep us in the middle. Like, we're gonna have to keep learning how to mitigate any harm or any troubles that this may cause. Oh, damn. Damn. And I don't have any like positive inspirational quotes to end this, but I'll just reuse the quote by Jack Cornfield, and I'm just gonna paraphrase. Just tend to the part of the garden that you can touch. Just keep focusing on your pursuits, on your goals, and just focus on yourself. Right? Now, if what you're pursuing is, the stuff that I'm talking about here, well, again, just keep doing your thing, right? Make sure you're around great people that will keep you inspired and motivated and accountable and driven, and just keep doing your thing, man. Like, even though all this crazy shit's happening, just keep doing you, all right? And while you're doing you, stay safe, stay healthy, and again, I say, stay driven, all right? We're all in this together, whether it feels like it or not. We're all in this together. We're all fighting a good fight here. So that's all I got for you. I do want to say, for any new audience members here that may still be tuning in right here, if you've actually got to this point, even if you like listen to this podcast in segments, if you are catching this moment right here of the podcast, please, if you enjoyed the content, follow, subscribe, whether you're listening on audio platform or if you're watching on YouTube. Please subscribe to my channel. I do post other art content on there. And if you aren't already following me on social media, and you want to, again, just support my art, see what I'm up to, catch any insights on what I'm working on, all that good jazz, please follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Art of G Torado. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, guys.